He sent me to heal the wounds of the brokenhearted and to tell the captives, you are free. And to tell the prisoners, be free from your darkness. I'm going through. And I am sent to announce a new season of Yahweh's grace. That's what we're in right now. And a time of God's recompense on his enemies. To comfort all who are in sorrow. To strengthen those crushed by despair, who mourn in Zion, to give them a beautiful bouquet in the place of ashes, the oil of bliss instead of tears, and the mantle of joyous praise instead of the spirit of heaviness. Because of this, this is us, will be known as oaks of righteousness. Mighty oaks of righteousness, planted by Yahweh as a living display of his glory. They will restore ruins from long ago and rebuild what was long devastated. They will renew ruined cities and desolations of past generations. Come on, God. Foreigners will be appointed to shepherd your many flocks. Are you guys okay? Strangers will cultivate your fields and tend your vines, but you will be known as priests of Yahweh and called servants of our God. You will feast on the wealth of nations and revel in their riches. Because you received a double dose of shame and dishonor, you will inherit a double portion of endless joy and everlasting bliss. For I, Yahweh, love fairness and justice, and I hate stealing and sin. I will repay them because of my faithfulness and enter into an everlasting covenant with them, with us. Their seed will be famous among the nations, and their descendants the center of attention of the people. All who see them will recognize that they are the seed that Yahweh has blessed with favor. God, you're so amazing. I will sing and greatly rejoice in Yahweh. My whole being vibrates with shouts of joy in my God. For he has dressed me with salvation and wrapped me in the robe of his righteousness. I appear like a bridegroom on his wedding day, decked out with a beautiful sash, or like a radiant bride adorned with sparkling jewels. In the same way, the earth produces its crops and seeds spring up in a garden, so will the Lord Yahweh cause righteousness and praise to blossom before all the nations. Come on, Jesus. Jesus, you're amazing. And that same Spirit, Jesus, that raised you from the dead is alive in us. That's our inheritance. All nations. We'll see captives set free. We'll say those that are imprisoned to be freed from that darkness and to be free from that prison. We're going to see people healed. I'm preaching to the choir, raised from the dead. We're going to see cities and regions that are steeped in ruin and desolation come into the promise of the kingdom of heaven inheritance. And trust me, if we don't see it in the fullness of my lifetime, we're going to live every single day so the next generation can ride the wave of what has already been gained. And I'm going to say this, and then we're going to pray. Are y'all all right? You know, I've taught this, and I've understood it, but you know, when there's a moment where they're in that revelation, that rhema, it's like, okay, you've read it, you kind of know, but then you're like, oh. I've learned something a lot since I've started going to the Bible College of Wells and praying. Reese Howells, the intercessor in that group, I've talked about him here before. He says, he writes, once a position has been gained in the spirit, it can never be lost. I've read it 1,000 times. Now I'm understanding. He prayed to such a degree, in such an obedience, that what he gained in intercession in the Spirit was never, ever lost. It was just waiting for those to step in to the invitation to walk and to step into what was already gained. Oh, that's what you all are doing here. You're gaining a position in the atmosphere of Ridgecrest. There is victories that are won and have been won. And guys, think about this. 100 years after we're not here, somebody could walk into this portal and have a life-changing encounter from what you have plowed here. So even if we don't see the fullness, we want to live every moment until our last breath out of this physical body on earth. We always live. We just transition to a new location. You know, every time those that are near and dear that have crossed over into eternity with Jesus, heaven just gets a step closer for me. Doesn't mean there's not grief or that we don't mourn. That's not what I'm saying. But it's like we're closer. Is everybody all right with me saying that? I know I've shared about encounters here. But since Peter Wagner has passed away, I've had several encounters in that great cloud of witnesses. Couldn't conjure it up if I wanted to. Couldn't make it happen. But there are moments that it's just happened. My daddy stepped into eternity. It's like they're still apart, but they just got this incredible vantage point. And they're right there, just, oh, come on. Come on. Taught about the Father's heart in WLI Korea with Dr.